Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and of course I'm very excited to be here with a very renowned group of gentlemen back in London on Savile Row at Sartorial, which is a restaurant, of course, that anyone that frequents the Row will be familiar with, just right here in the corner of Savile Row and Old or New Burlington Street, actually. These gentlemen here, and I'll have them all introduce themselves in a second, I think really represent the four cornerstones of the well-dressed lifestyle and really exemplify quality craftsmanship and tradition. So to have all of you here kind of assembled together is a huge honor. Again, this trip has really gone from strength to strength. It's so great to see and reunite with old friends. And I thank you all for kind of joining me to meet with me to talk about the state of British craft and really the things that we have to look forward to, which for all of you, of course, is a very exciting trunk show to the United States up here in November. So if you wouldn't mind, just kind of for the benefit of everyone watching, just kind of go around, introduce who you are and who you work for, and maybe even a little bit about what you do, because I know we've got bespoke shirt makers, bespoke suit makers, even bespoke glass makers, shoe makers, of course. It's all very exciting to have all of you together. So James, if you wouldn't mind just kind of kicking things off.
Yep, I'm James McCausland, and I'm a shirt cutter at Bud, so I'm upstairs.
Yeah, of course, right on the Piccadilly Arcade,
Yeah.
One of my favorite places for the accoutrement of the well-dressed lifestyle. Of course, experts in really the white tie kit. You guys are kind of the only game, not only in town, but probably the world. And we filmed some great videos with Bud shirt makers, of course, actually seeing James do some cutting and invite us upstairs to their cutting room. So thank you.
I'm Dominic Sebekman. I'm creative director and a cutter at Edward Sexton. I've been there for over 10 years now, and again, I work in the tailoring side, but also have been helping grow the ready-to-wear side of the business and the international side.
Yeah. And absolutely, I mean, of course, Edward Sexton, very well renowned for a very, would you describe kind of updated, a very modern cut, but still based here on Savile Row, is that?
The cut takes its inspiration from the 1920s, so in some ways it's very old-fashioned, but we try and sort of keep it fresh and relevant and looking at the kind of people who are wearing our clothes and making it relevant for the world that they're in and the lifestyles that they lead. So not looking like a vintage garment,
yes,
but having that sense of tradition and style and elegance relevant for today.
Well, some of the best elements of, I think, classic menswear really did come from that era. And so to be able to see those elements echoed, in a relevant kind of modern cut, I think is always one of the things I've appreciated about Edward Sexton. So it's so great to have you joining us today.
Hi, I'm Darren Tien, and also from Bud Shirt Makers, cutter alongside James in Piccadilly.
Yeah. Well, and Darren, one of the things that, again, I can say that you probably wouldn't is, just how much time you've had cutting. One of the things I really appreciate about Bud is you guys, of all the bespoke shirt makers in London, probably have the most tenured cutters. Yeah. And not to date you, but how many years do you have actually at Bud cutting?
At Bud cutting, it's over a decade, sort of thing. But over sort of 30 years in the trade anyway. So,
Yeah, it's really.
I'm showing promise.
Yeah.
But it's a great company to work for. We've been established there in Piccadilly since 1910. So it's an honour, to work there and work alongside people like John, who's been there at his board at Bud for like 50 years. So it's incredible. I'm a near pup in comparison to it. So it's a real honour.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things I love so much about British craft is just the heritage. You can find bespoke suit makers and bespoke shirt makers all around the world, but what you find in London is really truly singular and unique, especially whenever you interpret that just through the perspective of how long everyone's been here to really develop and perfect the craft. So every single time I'm in London, I'm just consistently in awe of just the history, the heritage, the excellence, and it's exciting to again be talking with you guys, and then we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming trip to America, which I know everyone's very eager and excited about.
Yes, indeed. So I'm Jamie, based out of E.B. Merowitz. I'm the brand director there, and actually we're very excited to be going to America.
Yeah.
Such a great collection of brands and chaps. And
and for those not familiar with E.B. Merowitz, you guys are located in the Royal Arcade.
Yes, that's right.
And you guys do bespoke glasses.
We do. We make spectacle frames from quite interesting materials, and round the face to the shape and exactly to your measurements.
Yeah, to your measurements.
Yes, exactly.
And again, one of the things that again I'm struck by is just you say interesting materials. You almost kind of say that it should be echoing in the room. I mean, you guys are making glasses from materials that are all but impossible to find these days. And I mean, incredibly rare tortoise shell. I mean, what all? I mean,
we like to experiment, and over the lockdowns, we've had quite a lot of time to do this with our latest material of choice is mammoth ivory. Oh. So 30,000-year-old mammoth ivory dug up in the Siberian tundra, and developing that into a piece of eyewear that's actually able to be worn and actually looks great. So it's quite exciting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, a man that wears glasses, I mean, it's as much a part of one's wardrobe as their garment. And again, it's like great shoes. You spend so much time in it, you might as well have it made proper. Done right.
So. Yes, of course.
Yeah, great. We'll certainly talk more about that here in a bit. And of course, a man that needs no introduction on our channel, Tony Gaziano, of course, of Gaziano and Girling. And I was just having my bespoke measurements taken on Thursday. And of course, Tony and Dean, created what was the first kind of new footwear brand in decades, if not even longer, in kind of the early 2010s, is that right? Or late 2000? 2006. Yeah. I always have to remember that you started 1 year before I technically started what was then the Hanger Project. Yeah, yeah. And I still remember on my first trip to Pitti Uomo, you guys had a small little table there.
That's right, that's all we could afford at the time.
Yes, that's right. Well, and whenever you guys launched, I mean, there was a lot of excitement around, a new brand, really taking a position, a stylistic position on kind of updating the classic English silhouette. And of course, making some absolutely beautiful shoes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So in 2006, we kind of took the shoe world by storm a little bit, because nobody had done anything with shoes in England, certainly for over 100 years. And we instead of creating just classic shoes, we wanted to add a contemporary twist into it and almost reinvent the classics. And people appreciated it. So.
Well, so, I mean, again, kind of as I'd referenced earlier, I mean, this is really the four cornerstones of classic menswear. I mean, suits, shirts, ties, pocket squares, of course, from Bud also, shoes and glasses. I really don't know what else is left after that. I mean, it's all kind of peripheral accessories beyond that point. And one of the things that's exciting, of course, is that you guys have kind of joined together to form what is something called the London Collective, right?
Yep. Literally born from,
from the ashes of COVID.
Yeah, from the ashes of COVID. I think it started when me and Dominic met in the street and just had a casual chat, and
when we had a bit more time on our hands.
Yeah, we were
a bit slower.
Both talking how desperate we are to get back out and see our friends in America.
But it wasn't just that chance encounter. I think going back to what you were just saying, Kirby, is that all of our brands, while we have this impeccable heritage and quality and understand the hundreds of years of history that goes into each and every one of our products, we needed brands that would fit with us, because we're sort of on the edge of that in some ways, because like Tony, Edward Sexton took the Savile Row by storm in the late 1960s, early 70s, and created more than just your traditional old man's stuffy, trussed-up suit. And all the brands here, you get that quality, you get that heritage, and we know how to do that straight down the line traditional. We also know how to bring more to it than that, and that's what we're offering. And moreover, what we can do is we can help clients understand what's going to work for them. Having something made can be difficult for some people.
It can be overwhelming.
And we find that our customers, and I'm sure you guys find the same, get great value from the decades of experience in the eye of the person who's dealing with them. And we look at somebody when they come in, and we try and get a sense of who they are as a person, how they're going to wear their clothes, where they're going to wear their clothes, and work out what their needs are. Because the language, as you know, you've gone deep into this. It's so particular and and the small differences have an impact on the overall effect. And we all know that, and we can help the customers navigate that, so they don't need to know everything.
Yeah. Well, I can think of some experiences I have had before, where you walk into a trunk show or a tailoring shop and they throw 15 books on the table and they say, well, take a look, choose a fabric, and then we'll do your measurements. And for a customer, especially someone that might just be beginning their sartorial journey, I mean, it's totally overwhelming, and you're all but guaranteed to make a terrible choice that you regret later. I think one of the great values and benefits of working with someone that has got such history and such experience in the trade is that they're really able to guide one along and then almost make prescriptive recommendations that are grounded in the fact that they've done their work and know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, part of our job is to extract that information from the customer. What are you going to wear it for? What else have you got in your wardrobe? But certainly with shoes, from a shoe point of view, what are the clothes? What colours do you wear? What type of clothes do you wear? So we can match the shoes up with those, with the suits and the shirts and even the glasses.
Well, I think that's a very good point, because not only are we all able to recommend, which shirts, which shoes, which suits are going to go with the lifestyle of any client, but being in a room all together, we can actually recommend almost styles together, which is something we've never been able to do before, and we're quite excited to.
Well, and I think that again, one's shirt maker should be kind of discussing or collaborating with one suit maker, and vice versa with one shoemaker and glass maker. I mean, the more kind of integration you have, without question, the better the outcome.
Of course,
I think that's one thing that we kind of touched on as well beforehand, was that we do have a crossover of customers, so, with us kind of travelling together, it'd be quite nice and easier for people, I would imagine, to say, oh, they're all in town together.
Yes.
They're all trading on the same trunk show.
Yeah.
So it might just be nicer and easier for them to come in and see us all at once. And hopefully as well, people who are probably coming to see Dominic, Jamie or Tony, might just kind of cast an eye over to us as well.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all going to help each other with that, so it's, what shirt fabric goes with the suit that the customer chose. You can literally walk that fabric over to the shirt maker and to the leather of the shoe and kind of build your outfit rather than, I mean, I think Darren, we've been travelling for probably about a similar amount of time, nearly 30 years, and for 30 years we've just been doing trunk shows on our own, so we're super excited to be able to kind of...
Well, it's an interesting point I think we should touch on is that, I mean, the formation of the London Collective is, quite, innovative, or, I mean, it's quite exciting, we'll say that, because, Tony, as you mentioned, oftentimes, all of the tailors and kind of, craftspeople, artisans, kind of travel and organize their trunk shows independently. And again, it's been so long since everyone has been able to travel to the United States or Americans to travel to Britain. I think having that, that collaboration not only is exciting, but also makes it easier for the customer and more efficient to be able to kind of hit their shirt maker, their suit maker, shoemaker, glasses maker, kind of all in the same appointment, if you will, and same location versus having to kind of like pop around in town.
I think that's kind of been the thing as well, because you normally travel, as Tony was saying, you'll meet, the tailors will be in town and the shoemakers will be in town and you'll meet up afterwards sort of thing. But this is exciting, certainly for me anyway, just to see the new kind of thing and how people work, and certainly the kind of Edward Sexton and their kind of structure and their suits is completely different to a lot of people. So it'd be interesting to see that. Same with Tony and the shoes as well, that little twist on it. And the glasses as well, I'm fascinated by, because I never ever...
I want a pair of them.
Me too.
Well.
I think you've kind of got 4 customers anyway.
I don't think any of us can afford it.
But it's going to be interesting and nice. I've got a feeling it's just going to be a nice kind of atmosphere and vibe with us there. Good to get to America again because I'd have to say that our American customers, they've been very kind to us over the years, and they've also been very loyal. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it'd be nice to get back out there and sort of, see them again, but just to...
Well, I can speak for myself. I mean, not having been able to travel to Great Britain for over 18 months, it's been difficult for me for someone that enjoys this city and has so many friends here. But I found myself as I was boarding the airplane to travel over, I found myself more excited than I even recall me being the first time I ever came. And I don't know if that's something that you guys are experiencing kind of personally, that excitement to return back to America, but even amongst your American clientele, to just see you all collectively kind of, whenever it's been so long.
Well, I think it's worth mentioning that, when after so many years of traveling to America and, they become less clients and more friends.
Yes.
And it's not just about getting back to see clients, it's getting back to meet up with old friends and catch up and build, rebuild those relationships again. And that's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the nice things also, from my point of view, is also, from probably all of our point of views, is we've got multiple brains working on the same project. And planning these trips takes a lot of work. And we planned a bigger trip, a longer trip to more cities. And so it's been a real joy to plan because we all bring different experiences and different contacts to the table. So someone knows the right hotel in LA and has a good relationship with it. Tony obviously knows you very well and has introduced us to you. We're all really excited to get to know Texas with you. So it's a real joy to share resources and experience in just the planning of the trip. And then, like the guys were saying, we're going to learn a lot from each other about what shoes go with which trouser and what trouser length goes with which shoe. And you and I are sure going to differ on collar style and tie style. It's going to be really interesting learning experience for us to see someone else's perspective.
Two very different chambray shirts right here.
Well, this is the Texas Monday, I think.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Well, I think to that point that's very exciting is that, again, there is a certain scale and critical mass that you guys are able to achieve that is allowing you to do exciting things. I know that you partnered with the Prince's Trust, which is Prince Charles's charitable foundation. You're actually going to be raising some money on this trip. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the Prince's Trust involvement is exciting because, of course, Prince Charles is a very large supporter of British craft. And that, at the end of the day, I think is such an important part of just British life is this historical and kind of significant, craft that's existed and really kind of in a lot of ways, I don't want to say defined, but certainly for me, has certainly helped make London what it is. I mean, it's something that you can really only find here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think also, we're at an interesting point right now, coming out of COVID, with Brexit having happened in COVID, and Britain is needing to redefine what it's going to be in terms of business, standing alone on itself. And we are traditional businesses that have always had a stronghold in quality and craft. And we hope that that's going to be a strong part of how Britain's going to grow out of this situation.
Yeah. Have you seen, I mean, we've all been kind of locked down, in pajamas and shorts and, jumpers, for the better part of 18 months. I mean, you guys certainly have your pulse on this. James, would be interested to kind of hear what you think. Do you see people kind of, as they're re-emerging into the world, swinging back the other direction towards formality, or have they just grown so comfortable in their jumpers that that's what they're wearing?
Definitely. There's been a mad rush on black tie in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of weddings, but also events are happening now, and so everyone just desperately needs to look good again.
Yes.
So there is a massive movement of everyone.
What do you think about just ties, suits, and...
Yeah, the same. Certainly with everyone coming back to the office and things, people are suddenly realising that they don't fit in their shirts anymore. And so, things have been really good since everything's opened up because of everyone's bored of wearing pajamas, I guess.
Yes, well, I think that more than anything is, it's been so long since we've been able to go to our favorite restaurant or go to one's club or go to a proper wedding or even just a black tie event, that one is really savoring that opportunity and not taking it for granted.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because if there's one thing out of this that we should all hopefully be left with, it's not taking, these things for granted. I mean, being able to travel, being able to see, one's good friends, being able to even go see one's, suit maker, shirt maker, shoe maker, go to one's favorite restaurant. I mean, these, for a period of time, each and every one of those had been taken away from us.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. And it's nice. We're just starting to see some normality creep back in now, which is...
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I'm really quite surprised. I think London is even more normal than some cities in Texas, which is saying a lot by American standards. Yeah. And so it's nice to see, that after, at the end of all of this, that life really is getting back to normal.
Yep.
And so for any Americans traveling to London, there's really, it's kind of back to how it was, and that's nice. Well, let's talk a little bit specifically about the trip, because I know everyone's very excited, of course, to be going to America. You guys are putting a lot of kind of resources into organizing the trip. What cities are you hitting? And maybe just kind of talk a little. We don't have specific dates yet, but it's going to be November. And by the time this video publishes, I guess we'll put the dates right now, and we'll have them in the description of this video. But talk a little bit about the cities you guys are hitting and some of the exciting things that you guys have planned. Who wants to?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the East Coast. I think we're doing. We're obviously doing New York together. For us, I think we're doing New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco. I will be doing Chicago, Philadelphia, and Boston as well. So I think New York, we're all together, and then on the West Coast, I think.
So I mean, the two main cities where we all have the biggest business, I think, is New York and LA. Yeah. You guys have a great base in DC, that we're gonna work out of.
Work there, of course. I guess now it's Bud
& Co.
Bud & Co. That's right. Yes, it's a brilliant.
So I think for the London Collective, as a group, we start off in DC. We do 2 days in DC, and then we travel to New York and we do 3 days in New York. Then we travel to Dallas and do 2 days in Dallas, and we finish off in LA and do 2 days in LA.
Okay. And then kind of everyone else might kind of bounce around, to some of their satellite cities, just depending on kind of where they've traditionally traveled. Yeah. But we'll have all of that, of course, in the description of this video. And of course, everyone here, has their websites, which you can find in the description of this video. Instagram, of course, I'm sure you'll all be publicizing that. And I guess my only suggestion would be that, anyone that's interested in meeting up with you all, what is the best way for them to reach out and schedule?
Well, we're creating a website for the London Collective, which should go live within the next week to 10 days, as soon as we know the actual dates that we're allowed back into America. So majority of the information will be on the website, but on any of our websites around about the same time as well, we will have the itinerary of every city, the times, and what we'll be doing alongside the trunk show, like the cocktail evenings and the event side. Who else will be involved? There's a few other people that might be involved in the trunk show as well.
The thing to remember is you can make appointments with us, and appointments
I guess appointments you coordinate individually.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, for people who haven't had anything made by any of us, there'll be the opportunity to meet us at a drinks evening and have a chat and get to know us without any pressure of committing to buying.
Well, I'm hoping I can make it up to New York for the event that you guys are doing in New York. I know we've got something planned, of course, in Dallas. And gentlemen, I couldn't be more excited to finally have you guys welcomed back onto American soil, and I can only imagine the number of countless customers that are excited to, of course, be able to see you all again. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you for this time, and it's so great to be back here in London, and thank you for all that you do to kind of helping keep alive classic menswear and supporting, of course, the values that are so important to us here at Kirby Allison: quality, craftsmanship, and tradition.